Anyway, but very humble. We have now, Ray, I need to have a chat to you. We are now an hour and 20 minutes behind time. Because you were sobbing up here and crying and the kids were around you. It was a beautiful moment. But at the end of the day, it's a Wednesday night. We're not getting out of here till 1 in the morning the way you were going. As you've noticed, we've got people that are important to the inductees. The person who's being put into the Hall of Fame is the inductee or the inductor? Inductee, yes. So we've had the inductors have been people that have played a role in their careers and or their lives, and we're going to have Ray come up here and be the inductor for the inductee, which is Joe Metcalfe. Please put your hands together.
Epitome. Is it on now?
Yep.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Epitome. Perfect example. I've known a lot of great people in my life, and Lindsay was definitely one of those. I'll tell you, no, I'm not allowed to. I can tell a story about Lindsay. I think he invented physical therapy.
Right, you're inducting Joe.
I've got to say this, I'm talking about strength of an individual. I was very fortunate, actually I was probably, Tomo, you're with Lindsay. So when we toured the world, there was 13 in the travelling party, 12 player, so I had to go and room with Lindsay. Because everybody else said, we're the socialising group, you room with Lindsay, blah, blah, blah. So we're playing a game at Massachusetts, University of Massachusetts. Lindsay's got a problem with his knee. He's got this huge bubble popping out of his cartilage area of his knee. And he says, I can still run in a straight line, it doesn't hurt. But you've got to have to help me get through the game. So he gets his thumb and he pushes his thumb into the socket of the knee. And he said, right, when I push it in, you tape it up and I'll be able to play. That took a lot of mental power to do that. Warwick Giddy, as a senior player, has a lot of mental toughness. But in the female side, Jo is probably one of the toughest people I've ever come across in women's basketball. Because Jo would never take a back step for anybody. She is fortunate enough to be the first bronze medalist of any Australian touring group. She won a bronze medal with, I was coaching. Jo was in that team, and we had some great obstacles to overcome, but Lisa Leslie, who later went on to be a super pro, and a girl called Dawn Staley, who was a point guard. We had to beat the United States to go on to bigger and better things. So we happened to fluke a win against the United States, and then the rest is history. We played the Yugoslavian junior team in the semi-finals, which later on destroyed the senior Australian team in the '88 Olympics. Well, which had previously destroyed Australia in the '88 Olympics. And we played their junior team because they were still all juniors. And in '88 or '89, Jo was fortunate enough to be a member of that team. But one of the things that I've always found out about people who don't complain, people who listen to instructions, people who do everything possible to get themselves on the playing field, no matter what. And Jo epitomises that. She is one true basketball icon in my book, and I use that structure by knowing Jo to all the junior kids that I coach. Because at the end of the day, your mother and father can't do it for you. You have to do it. And like Lou said before, if it is to be, it's up to me throughout your life. So you choosing to do something, do it right, and a lot of things can happen for you. But Jo went on to win the MVP of our league. It was very unfortunate because we made 2 grand finals in the Women's National League, which is very painful even to think about these days. We lost 1 in overtime, which, sorry, I lied. My memory is slipping a bit, I'm nearly 70. Double overtime, we lost. Christy Harrower, we do like her because she started with under 12s with us. She made a basket from like between the 2 circles, thrown it in the air, swishes it, and the rest is history. But the second time around, she didn't do that for us. She was playing with us, and what happened was that we had a tough ask. I don't think we had anybody in the Australian team at the stage, did we, Joe? Nobody. Oh, Al. Sorry, Al. Were you in the Australian team when we beat Sydney up in Sydney? Anyway, we had to play 2 games to win the final. So we played half of the Olympic team in Sydney. And I know to this day a lot of football coaches talk to me and say, I remember watching that game where you guys were down 30 points and ended up winning by 13 against half the Olympic team. And the following week we had to go out and beat the other half. That was in South Australia. And that's when we lost the final in that second year. So we lost 2. Then the team disintegrated. But whilst I've got Jo here, that's the person we're talking about. Listen, I don't get a chance to acknowledge these people because Melbourne Tigers never did this for me in the early days. Right. Now, behind every great woman, there's a great man. And I've never acknowledged this in any forum before, but Steve Metcalfe changed the face of our women's program by the amount of work that he did with the girls, and later on, well, he was married to Jo at the time, I think, and that's important. But yeah, but as far as, okay, so everybody's giving me the wind-up sign. Wayne, it's the time to go, okay, 5 minutes. But Jo is the epitome of what girls basketball is about and what we try to instill in our girls program. Whilst we have a lot of dealings with people and parents living their lives through their kids because they were never such good athletes or good basketball players, but Jo is the actual epitome of what a basketball player should be. Dedicated. All right, somebody's winding us up there, right? Okay. Okay, Jo. All right, Jo. But anyway, Jo Metcalfe. Thank you. By the way, Jo works at a bank. Not anymore.
Anyway, see how I go. So special guests, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow inductees. What a privilege it is to be here tonight in the company of Melbourne Tigers basketball royalty. At the outset, I'd like to acknowledge those that instigated such a wonderful initiative. I can't tell you how overwhelmed I was when Nigel Purchase contacted me to advise of my pending induction. Melbourne Tigers has such a proud history, and I'm so honoured to be a part of it. There are so many worthy recipients of this award. I'm absolutely humbled to be included as one of the first women inductees into the Melbourne Tigers Hall of Fame. I'd like to thank Ray for his kind words. I actually couldn't think of a more appropriate representative of the club to speak on my induction. Like so many others, Ray was instrumental in my basketball career, commencing with the Australian junior women's team in 1989. On that occasion, we were the first Australian team to win a medal, a bronze at the World Championships. Quite simply put, it was the opportunity to be coached by Ray that led me to uproot from South Australia to Victoria to join the Melbourne Tigers family. And I really do mean it is a family. Through my association with this wonderful club, I've made so many lifelong friends. And whilst the list is too long to recognise everyone, I do want to give a shout out to my past Tigers teammates. So many of you are here tonight. Whilst it may be considered a cliche, I can honestly say that without you all, I simply would not be standing here right tonight. Until we have been a part of the team, particularly a Tigers team, it's impossible to fully comprehend the bond that results. I look back fondly on our time together, and whilst I have absolutely no regrets in my respect to my time here, deep down, I wouldn't mind another crack at those final 5 minutes of that double overtime loss to Adelaide in the 1994 WFL final. Perhaps we weren't always the most talented in the league, but we were the most disciplined. 30-second offence, knowing exactly where the shot was coming from, no matter who the scorer, this was the absolute key to our success. We played hard, and most importantly, we played for each other. It was this culture and this sense of belonging that made the choice of clubs an easy one when my daughter Nikki decided to try her hand at representative basketball. And I'd also like to take this moment to acknowledge Paul and Nikki Simpson for their support in welcoming Nikki to the club, and I'm delighted that Paul's been recognised tonight. Now, I'd just like to say a few thank yous. I'm nearly at the end. I won't hold you up much longer. My parents, who have travelled from Adelaide tonight. It's not really until you become a parent yourself of someone who plays Friday night basketball, and I'm assuming I think it might have been Wednesday night back then, the amount of travel to training, to games, to everywhere. So I thank you for doing that for me, and the support that you gave to me to get me to where I am. I know I left home when I was 15, came back for a few years and come over here, but I do want to thank you for everything that you did for me. My sister has also come over from Adelaide, and I particularly want her to thank her for being such a great runner, because I was not, and I gave up running and went to basketball. So if it maybe wasn't for her being such a great runner, I have also made a lot of things here. So to my 2 daughters who are here with me tonight, and my adopted son, my nephew who now lives with me, it's so nice that you're here to be here and join us with me. I mean, you never got to see me play, but I did have the privilege of stepping on the court with Nikki for a couple of games at other social basketball. So she might have saw a small piece of me hobbling down the court. So finally to Steve. Thank you for all the hills you ran with me, all the weights you made me push, all the weights you pushed with me. I know that had I not met you and trained with you, I wouldn't be here tonight. I know that for sure. So I really thank you for doing that. On a final note, I do want to say that I look forward to the day when this great club is again dominating the NPL and the WNBL ranks. I'm confident that our proud history and the resourcefulness of those behind the scenes will ensure that this becomes a reality. Again, can I thank everyone at the Melbourne Tigers Basketball Club for this remarkable honour. I'm deeply touched and incredibly overwhelmed. Thank you.
Okay. Well, this is going to sound odd, but because we're an emotional club, you're going to have to chew your meals quicker and eat quicker so we can get through the night in a reasonable time frame. But well done, Ray. Fantastic talk, and well done, Joe. That was beautiful, and we very much appreciate the nice words you said about the club. I have one thing I want to say. It is tradition.